And that's where we start with our Newsmaker segment as we welcome Kansas City, Missouri City Manager Troy Schulte, who has announced he will retire when his contract ends early next year. Schulte has spent about 10 years as city manager, working with Mayors Funkhauser, James, and now Lucas. Not long after the retirement was announced, speculation began that Schulte was not actually going into full-fledged retirement. Instead, he was joining Jackson County government as the county administrator. Final action on that appointment expected early next week. And joining us to talk about all that is City Manager Troy Schulte. Mr. Schulte, welcome back to Ruckus.
Good to be here, Mike. Thanks for inviting me.
Congratulations on your retirement.
Yep, short-lived apparently.
Congratulations on your almost new job.
Thank you. Thank you.
So how did this potential job at Jackson County come about? Did you approach the county? Did the county approach you?
As soon as I announced that I was planning on leaving Kansas City, I got a call literally the next day from Jackson County, the Jackson County executive, Frank White, and asked to kind of meet and see if there was a role that I could assist them in trying to move their agenda forward over at the county. It was a conversation that started and was amicable and kind of just moved from there over the last couple of weeks.
Well, I believe this past Monday was when the legislature was expected to approve the contract, and there has been a delay. What caused that?
I think the legislature had some good questions about making sure that they were comfortable with the kind of the new org chart, the organization chart that the county will be using, because I would be stepping in and kind of running day-to-day operations for county government. So they wanted to see that, and then they kind of wanted to see maybe a job description as a county administrator, although they've had a chief administrative officer in the past. They kind of wanted to see the revised job descriptions. All good questions, and well, hopefully the county gets them the information and they can move forward.
So who would you report to, the county executive?
I would report to the county executive, and then I would also have reporting responsibilities out to the county legislature as well.
Obviously, you weren't particularly ready to retire, considering the fact you're going to retire and then go to work. Right. So could we assume that if the current mayor had not been elected, you would not have retired?
No, I think I was probably ready to do something else. I had been in there 10 years as city manager, which is, we would jokingly say, was about 70 years in dog years. And, you know, I had gotten most of my to-do list done. The financial position of the city is as strong as it's ever been. We've got infrastructure funding, and we've got the major projects such as the airport, infrastructure planning, streetcar, all underway or completed. So it was a good time, and most of my senior team was beginning to retire legitimately because they had been there for a number of years. So I was looking for a kind of a complete turnover of my staff, as well as kind of my completion of what I'd set out to do. So I thought it was a good time to step aside and let Mayor Lucas get his own team in place and move forward the way they wanted to do.
So if you get this job in Jackson County, do you have a list of priorities?
I've got several, and they seem to always keep adding to the list. We've got to obviously work on the assessment process for 2021. We've got to deal with the correctional facility. We've got to deal with the facilities. The courthouse has had some serious structural issues. There's a plan out there. We just need to implement it. We got to try to figure out a path forward on this Rock Island rail project. There's innumerable other projects that will probably float to the surface. We've got a compensation program for county employees who are woefully underpaid. And it's been that way for a long time. So we've got to get that implemented and make sure we treat our people right. So there's no shortage of stuff to do over at the county.
But you wouldn't be woefully underpaid, would you?
No, I am taking the same salary I had at Kansas City, and I'm going to take it over at Jackson County.
What do you consider your greatest success during your years as city manager?
I think a couple of things. Again, kind of restoring the financial position, and then I think hopefully kind of restoring maybe the public faith that the city government can deliver on what it says. I think that shows a track record with our elections. There was confidence that if we asked the voters for a bond program, the infrastructure would be built, the airport, the park sales tax, that when we set out to do something, we can deliver. And I think that's been the big takeaway from our tenure is, I think, unlike maybe some of the issues you're seeing at the federal government and the state government, I think we've proven that local government still works and can be very effective in making the region and the city a much better place.
Let me ask you a final quick question. We often hear from people on Ruckus, Kansas City is taxed too much compared to peer cities. Do you agree?
I do not. I think we are taxed. We are a high-tax city, but if you look at some of the more successful cities in the country, Minneapolis, Seattle, Portland, those are all tax efforts. I think as long as you're getting quality for it, I think we have to be judicious in how we use taxes and ask for taxes. But I don't think we're overtaxed. I think we get value. We're a large city, 317 square miles, and only 480,000 people in it. We're bigger than the city of New York and only about a tenth of the population. So density, the lack of density creates some fiscal issues.
Got to stop you there. Thank you very much for coming in. Congratulations on the new job. Look forward to seeing you again.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks, Mike.
That is Kansas City, Missouri City Manager Troy Schulte. Now let's meet the panel and start a ruckus.